Polite laughter rippled across the manicured lawn. Somewhere between the string quartet and the shrimp cocktails, I stood alone, a ghost at my own brother's engagement party. "Why is she even here?" someone murmured behind a wine glass. "Just the runaway daughter who came crawling back," another snickered. I didn't flinch. I had long since grown numb to the stares, the smirks, the fake smiles laced with hidden knives. I kept my chin up, until I felt it. The sudden hush. Heavy. Suffocating. My father's footsteps hit the stone like a judge's gavel. "You've got the audacity to show your face," he growled. "Nice to see you too, Dad," I replied, cool and composed. The same cold civility he'd offered me since childhood. "You've got nerve," he seethed. "Today of all days, James' engagement. You're an embarrassment." Eyes turned. This party just got interesting. "Dad," I said evenly, trying to stay calm, "I was invited." "By who?" "Certainly not me. And this isn't your home anymore." I could have left. I should have. But I didn't. I looked him dead in the eyes and told the truth. "You made it clear years ago, I was never part of this family. I'm not here to cause trouble. I just came to wish James well." "Wish him well? After you ran off to play house with some nobody? You humiliated us. You're no daughter of mine." Then he shoved me. Hard. My heels slipped on the fountain's edge, and I fell backward into the cold, shimmering water. Gasps. Snickers. Applause. "She's lucky we even let her in," my stepmother called from across the courtyard, laughing into her white wine. "Serves her right," someone muttered. "This is better than the speeches," came another voice behind the roses. I sat up, drenched, mascara bleeding, hair plastered to my face. But I didn't cry. Not this time. I smiled. Slow. Steady. Unsettling. And then the gates opened. Heads turned. A black Bentley rolled up the cobblestone drive, flanked by two matte black SUVs. The security team stepped out first, flawless suits, scanning the crowd. Then the driver opened the car door. And out he stepped. My husband. Not the nobody they thought I married. Not the failure they mocked 5 years ago. No. He was Eli Whitaker now. And he walked with quiet, terrifying confidence in his tailored navy suit, sunglasses catching the sun. The courtyard froze. Even my father. Even my smug stepmother. Even James, mid-toast, glass raised in midair. "Is she with him?" someone whispered, voice cracking. Eli reached me. Without a word, he offered his hand. I stood. Water still dripping from my dress. He took off his blazer, draped it over my shoulders, and turned to face them. "Thank you for keeping my wife entertained," he said coldly. "She won't be needing any of you again." Then he looked at me. "Shall we, Mrs. Whitaker?" "More than ready," I said. We walked through the stunned crowd, water trailing from my heels onto their perfect lawn. The Bentley door closed with a soft finality, like the last page of a chapter turned. I exhaled slowly, leaned into the leather seat, still soaked, still shaking. But not from fear. From something deeper. Resolve. Memory. Fire. Eli handed me a towel. "You okay?" I nodded, drying my face. They always find a new way to remind me I don't belong. He said nothing at first, one of the things I loved most about him. He let silence do its work. Then, softly. "They'll learn. Soon." I looked at him. Not the man they ridiculed. Not the man who once nervously asked my father for my hand. He was no longer that man. He was the CEO of W3 Syndicate, the hidden force behind the year's most powerful fintech acquisitions. The kind of man who bought buildings, not bouquets. And he did it all after they cast me out. "You told me to remember this moment," he said. I stared ahead. "I think they're the ones who'll remember." I half laughed. "Do you think they even realize who you are now?" "Oh, they do now." 5 minutes after we left, my father started calling. Again and again. I didn't answer. My inbox lit up. "Harper, please call me." We didn't know. It got out of hand. The same man who screamed I was no daughter of his, now begging for a conversation. I said nothing. Because now, I had the leverage. The next morning, we didn't go home. We drove straight into the city, to a skyscraper downtown where Eli's name was etched in stone across the marble lobby. W3 HQ. He held the door for me. "Come inside." I frowned. "Like this?" "I have soaking hair and no makeup." "I need you in the boardroom," he said, smiling slightly. "What?" "Because today, you're signing your name on something they thought you'd never touch again." We took the express elevator to the 48th floor. When we walked into the boardroom, the entire executive team stood, not for Eli, but for me. "Gentlemen," Eli said calmly, "this is Harper Whitaker. You may know her as my wife, but starting today, she owns 51% of Crosswell Holdings." Silence. Shocked faces. Blinking eyes. Crosswell. My father's company. The one I grew up hearing about over breakfast. The one he built like a shrine. The one he always said would only go to someone capable. Not a dreamer. Not a girl. Not me. He left it to James. Never to me. What he didn't know. 2 years ago, Eli and I quietly began acquiring distressed companies. One of them? A shady Crosswell supplier. Eli asked me to dig. What I found? Crosswell was drowning in hidden debt. Dangerous, leveraged debt. We didn't destroy it. We saved it. Discreetly. Legally. Strategically. We bought 32% over a year. Then another 10% from a forgotten French stakeholder. The final shares? Acquired just yesterday. All in my name. "Congratulations," the CFO finally said, voice steadying. "You're now the majority shareholder." I nodded, then signed the papers. Black ink on cream linen. And just like that, I owned the empire my father swore I'd never be worthy of. I leaned back. Not with arrogance. Not even revenge. With peace. Quiet, overdue peace. "Would you like to send a board-wide memo?" Eli teased. I shook my head. "No. Let's send an invitation." "An invitation?" "To the next board meeting." He raised a brow. I smiled. At the same estate where they hosted the engagement party. 3 days later, the sun scorched down on the Whitestone estate, the same flawless grounds where I'd been shoved into a fountain, humiliated, disowned. But today wasn't for parties. Today was business. The invitation was simple. Internal review session, Crosswell Holdings. Mandatory attendance. Location, Whitestone Estate, East Pavilion. Host, Harper Whitaker, majority shareholder. Reactions? Voicemails laced with panic. Emailed questions forwarded by Eli's assistant. James was confused. My father? Furious. The board? Uneasy. But they came. They had no choice. At 9:55, I stood in the marble pavilion. Hair pinned. Powder blue blazer. Eyes clear. Steady. They arrived at 10 sharp. Of course they did. My father had taught them that. He entered first, James at his side, followed by senior directors. His eyes locked on mine. He didn't look away. Didn't blink. Then he laughed. Dry. Shallow. Quite the performance, isn't it? I didn't blink either. This isn't a show, I said. It's a board meeting. James sat slowly, pale. My father stayed standing. So it was you. Buying everything. In secret. Manipulating us. It was legal, I said, evenly. Clean. Smart. The way you used to do things, before desperation took over. He flinched. I saved Croswell, I continued. You just never noticed. Too busy propping up James. Too blind to the storm your own choices caused. Too blind to your debt. To your sinking company. You think this is some vendetta? Because I didn't hand you everything? No, I said slowly. It's a correction. You told the world I wasn't capable. That I wasn't worthy. So I built something of my own. And along the way, I saved yours. James cleared his throat. We were just trying to protect what he built. By throwing me into a fountain? I said, turning to him. Mocking me in front of your fiancé's family? Making sure the entire room knew I wasn't welcome? He looked away. I leaned forward. Calm. Measured. Ruthlessly graceful. This isn't revenge. This is reclamation. Of what was mine all along. My father's voice went quiet. You've changed. No, I replied. I just stopped asking for permission. The meeting continued. I outlined the restructuring plan. My team joined via video, legal, financial, branding experts. Eli sat beside me in silence, letting me lead. And when the presentation ended, I stood. I'm not here to fire anyone. I'm not here to humiliate you like you humiliated me. I'm here to lead this company better than you ever allowed me to. I turned to my father. My voice didn't shake. And from today forward, you'll address me as Chairwoman Whitaker. The room went still. Thick. Heavy. But real. He stared. But said nothing. Because what could he say? He raised me to be quiet. To shrink. To apologize. Now he had to sit in a room that belonged to me, surrounded by men who once dismissed me, and listen as I reclaimed every part of the story they tried to erase. That night, the estate felt different. Like the ghosts had finally been evicted. Eli and I stood on the balcony. I sipped black tea, no champagne. Still smiling inside, he asked. I looked over the garden. The same stones that once framed the fountain I fell into. Yes, I said. But not because they're hurting. Then why? Because I didn't have to destroy them to win. I just had to become someone they couldn't ignore. Later that week, I returned to the estate. Alone. No board meeting. No confrontation. Just a personal mission, one that had haunted me for years. I wasn't there for revenge. I came to find something I'd always known existed but had never seen with my own eyes. My mother's will. After she passed, I asked about it. My father brushed it off. There was nothing left, he claimed. She signed everything over to me. But I never believed him. Now, I had the legal right to dig. And I did. I went straight to his old study. It hadn't changed in 20 years. Same walnut shelves. Same dusty books. Same framed photo of James shaking the mayor's hand. Not one photo of me. I opened drawers, flipped through old ledgers, obsolete contracts, and tax folders. Then I saw it, a thin, yellowed envelope, tucked between forgotten balance sheets. My name was written on the front in my mother's handwriting. Harper Whittaker, from Mom. If they ever try to erase you, read this. My hands trembled. I broke the seal. Inside was a short letter. But her voice echoed in every word. Harper. If you're reading this, then your father has done what I feared, cut you out. But I want you to know something. I left everything to you. The trust. The lake house. The shares. All of it. I saw how hard you worked. I saw what he tried to do to your spirit. And I always believed in you, even when no one else did. They will lie. They will hide. But the truth belongs to you. With love. Mom. I froze. The lake house, sold 5 years ago, they said. The trust, empty, they claimed. The stocks, used to save the family, they insisted. I wasn't angry. Not anymore. But now, I had proof. And I wouldn't scream. I wouldn't throw a fit. I'd expose them, quietly. Precisely. That evening, I met with the family's longtime attorney. I placed the letter in front of him. His eyes widened. Harper, this changes everything. Good, I said calmly. Do you want to press charges? He asked. No, I said, unwavering. I want the truth made public. He nodded. Then you'll need to appear at the estate hearing. I'll be there. The hearing room was still. Too still. My father sat rigid, jaw locked. My stepmother shifted uncomfortably. James stared at his phone like it might offer an escape. At the head of the table stood the attorney, holding my mother's letter. Before we continue with the asset review, he began, Mrs. Whittaker has submitted a new document, handwritten by her late mother. My stepmother scoffed. This is absurd. The attorney didn't even blink. The handwriting and signature have been verified. It's authentic, and legally binding. He read it aloud. Word for word. Line by line. I didn't look at anyone. I didn't need to. When he finished, there was silence. Then a sharp gasp. The attorney continued, unshaken. In accordance with Elena Whittaker's final wishes, all remaining assets, including the family trust, estate funds, and ownership of the lake property, are to be transferred solely to her daughter, Harper Whittaker. James stammered, Wait, what? The lawyer ignored him. These assets were misappropriated. That constitutes fraud. A full investigation is now underway. My stepmother slammed her hand on the table. We thought the trust was void. We were told. You told yourselves, I cut in quietly, meeting her gaze at last. You both lied. And then lived off what she left for me. My father said nothing. He couldn't. Because now, even the last illusion of dignity he clung to was tied to a fraud. You tried to erase me, I whispered. But Mom didn't forget. The lawyer turned to me. Ms. Whittaker, if you'd like to make a statement. I stood. Poised. Steady. No vengeance, I said, looking them each in the eye. Just truth. I didn't come here to ruin you. I came to show you who I've become. Not in spite of your cruelty, but because of it. My father blinked. Was it guilt? Was it shame? Or just the realization that he could no longer control the daughter he once dismissed? I walked to the door. And just before stepping out, I turned back. "You were right," I said softly. "I'm not your daughter anymore." Then I left. Not just the room. Not just the estate. But every trace of doubt they'd ever planted in me. That night, I stood on the balcony of our penthouse. The city shimmered below. Eli wrapped his arms around me. "Are you proud of yourself?" he asked. I smiled. "No. Not proud." I turned my face to the sky. Just finally free.